Hi everybody, I'm coming to you from my crop room this month in April. We are looking forward to our virtual or our in-person event after Easter at the church on Glen Street. Let me see what the date of that is. I've got it in my little book here. I should have had this written down for us all. In April, we'll be there the 19th, which is a Tuesday, from 10 to 4. So if anybody wants to join us, you're welcome to. The event will be open to all our club members. And the thing about it is I won't be teaching anything because I'm going to give you this video and your written instructions ahead of time. So you're welcome to work on that or anything else you'd like to work on. I'm going to be bringing with me some layouts that I've done with the paper pack in full bloom, which is this month's paper pack that I used, and you're welcome to copy or get ideas from what I've done. So you might want to think about what you'll want to do that day because we have all day and we'll be getting together. So that'll be awesome. I can't wait. So without further ado, we used in full bloom this month, and I will get on with what we did. Putting the camera down. There we go. So this is our sketch. I loosely followed it. I did pretty well, but I will admit, I used Cricut cuts and silhouette cuts for my layout. I did do a technique on the flowers, and I pre-did a bunch of those. I just cut it all up with my stamped and cut with my die cutter, and so I had a pile of them to use. So I just used those, but you're welcome to use any flowers you want, and if you want to, on our meet day, I will be bringing the stamps for this, so you're welcome to, stamp and cut out of your own cardstock, anything you'd like. So I will be bringing these stamps and dies with me and my Cuttlebug. So this is the layout. Like this it goes. So these two green sheets are in the center. This is actually the second page. This is actually your right page. I don't have any photos on it yet. This is actually a stamp, and I can bring this, and you have to fussy cut it though, this camera. I did do it 3D, so when we actually work you'll see. The dragonfly is also one of our stamps that I fussy cut. I don't have the die for that. This is a sticker. This was a die cut that I used. Here's the little tags that you can die cut, and I did 3 of them, one out of a PML card and the other 2 are out of just plain cardstock. This edge was cut on my, oh no, you know what? I did use a die for that. That's got the stitched edge. That's one of my dies. You just have to run it through twice. And I think I used, how did I cut that? I'm trying to think now. Because I must have had to cut this paper. Yes, I did. You'll notice I have a little seam right here. I don't know if you can see me on the top here. Right here on the top, I have a little seam right here, and it's down here. But you don't notice it because I butted it up because I wanted to use a die to put this through my cutter, and I can only have 6 inches. So this is actually a 6-inch piece of paper here that I use the die on the edge. So I can bring that die with me also. These are Cricut cuts, these bulbs. This is the film strip on this page is a Cricut cut, and my flowers down here are ones that I stamped out of paper that I colored myself and sprayed, and then this is out of the sticker sheet. So without further ado, I'll give you the measurements. Now this film strip, if you don't want to do that, you can just use a plain piece of black paper, and by the time you get your photos in here, it will almost look the same. It won't have this detail, but it will look the same as this. So you can do it that way, or you can just do 3x4s here with a black frame around them. It's up to you how you want to handle that if you don't have a Cricut or a silhouette to cut this piece. So without further ado, I'll give you the measurements. I used 3 4x6 black photo mats, and I used the solid core black for those. I like that now. It's kind of nice. I cut some of the paper with the green stripe at 4 by 11. So you've got the green stripe at 4 by 11. Then this page, even though you don't see it, this little piece carries on from the other side. I actually scallop cut it with the die. This tiny little piece down here, it goes all the way to the top. So that piece was cut at 4 by 2.5, or 12 by 2.5. And then there's another little piece like this paper here. It's like a gray tone. I think it's mink actually. And that was cut at about 1 3/4 by 11. And the green was cut at 9.5 by, I'm going to say 2 because it goes underneath this here. So this piece right here basically covers all your seams on this side, so you can really cut them down small. And actually this one too, this piece actually went all the way over to here because behind here, it's behind here, so it's actually 5 inches. I'm sorry, 5 inches by 11. But if you have a solid piece here, you don't need it that big because you won't have the holes there like I do to see through it. So that's up to you how you want to handle that. And then you just layer, I started at this side with this piece, and this piece, and then this piece underneath was lined up there. Centered, they're all centered to the center of the page on that side. On this piece, on this other page, like I said, I cut this one 12 by, I'm going to do the top because it's easier to see. 12 by 6. I told you, 12 by 6 this piece is, and then I die cut this edge with a stitch scallop die that I have, an edge die. That's, I think, close to my heart, actually. I'll have to dig it out. And then the other little piece that I have here is 3.5 by 12. So the seam is right here up at the top. You can't really see it in my camera here, but it is in the top here. Right up here, the seam. But you don't notice it because this paper is fairly busy, so it hides it well. Just make sure you cut the big piece. Well, you should cut the big piece at 9.5 by 12. And then cut this piece at 6. So then your seams will match your pattern. So that's a good tip for that. And let's see here. This is 9.5 by 6.25. And this is 7 by 11, this other piece of mink. So there's actually 3. And actually, you could gut out this a little bit underneath here so you have extra of this to make a couple cards or whatever of this piece right here. This, as I said, was a piece I think I had on my table left over from when I cut something. I don't know. Oh, maybe on this side I cut some of it out, and this is a piece from there. I used a trimmer and just trimmed out a little piece with the scalloped edge. And this was actually a Cricut cut also, but this could easily, this part right here, this little ring, could easily be accomplished by using a gel pen, a black gel pen, and just kind of making a circle scribble around, not even, and it would be fine. That would work also. Or just get a circle and do 3 different ones that intertwine. You can do that too. Make a circle template with your cardstock and just, you know, make 3 little circles with a pen, and it would look just as well, just as good there. And as I say, this camera we can definitely make when we meet. I'll bring the die, or not the die, the stamp. It's an old stamp of the month, and it's a really good one. I've used it quite a bit with this paper pack because it has cameras in it, and I loved this camera. This is a special one. And then I actually made it a little shaker. I don't know if you can see the detail in that. I made it a little shaker. You don't have to, but how I accomplished that was I just put foam tape. I put actually little foam dots on this top layer that I cut and butted them all up together, and then used a little glue when I put this down. And there's a little piece of acetate in there that I used. It's actually transparency that I've had forever. And I just cut a little piece to put in there. And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to stamp it 4 times, and I embossed it with black embossing powder and a Versamark pad to do that piece. And then this little dragonfly here, I actually just cut him out of the same paper as I made my flowers out of that I had dyed myself with the inks. And I used some of that Stickles gel on there, and it's a different colored one. I bought at scrapbook.com. It's not one that we offer in our catalog. It's a teal color. I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is, but I put it on his wings just to give him a little glitz. And these little guys are so much fun. There are some on your sticker sheet, but I'm not sure how many. I cut these on the die cut because they came when I bought the pack, the dies for the die cuts, the digital die cuts for this paper pack. These were in it. So I cut these like this, and I actually glued them down at the top and then put a pop underneath. So they're kind of a little raised. You can see, maybe you can see here that they're kind of a little raised. And I like that effect because then they're flat coming down and it's kind of like they're popping up a little bit. And then my little tags, you could easily put ribbon on these. I did use those flowers that I made, and they have a little sheen. I used the gold spray stuff here that we sell. It's called this one right here, the Dina Wakley Gloss Spray Gilt. I used that to spray them in my spray box after I had them colored. And it does do a nice fine little mist, and it really does a nice job. But the trick with those sprays when you get them is to make sure you clean them. And how you clean them is you unscrew the top, and you put your little spray thing in another little bottle or in a dish, and you spray water in the sink with it through the whole hose, the little tube, so till it comes clear. And then wipe off the nozzle really well with a damp paper towel, and it should not clog. And so far I've used it like 2 or 3 times, and I have done that every time. It's a little bit of a project to do that, but once you do that, it's all cleaned, and it does dry fairly quickly, so you can't like wait till tomorrow and do it. You've got to do it right when you're done, so you clean it all up nice. But anyway, so these are our 2 pages for April. And it was fun. This paper pack, oh my gosh, I bought more than one because I just loved it. So these are my colors. This was my kind of theme. It's so generic. You could put anything on there. It's a good life. It could be a walk in the park. It could be anything. I just loved this paper pack. I couldn't get enough of it. So I hope you enjoy this layout, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you at our crop. Take care. Bye-bye.